Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie, and I'm part of BlackRock's campus recruitment team. Over the next 40 minutes, I'm going to give you an overview of BlackRock before diving into our early in career opportunities for 2021 and our application process. BlackRock is a special place. It occupies a unique place in the world, the confluence of technology and finance, a place you can make a living as well as a difference. We're an asset manager, and with 7.32 trillion in assets under management, BlackRock is trusted to manage more money than any other investment firm in the world. I urge you to keep an open mind when you research your careers. You may have a fixed idea about where you want to be, but there is nothing more to the finance industry than investment banking. So what is asset management? In the simplest form, asset management can be defined as the business of handling others' money. Asset management or investment management firms are typically financial service companies that invest on behalf of clients. Asset managers will recommend various products and vehicles of investment, but only after due diligence of assessing risk appetite of the client, understanding their financial goals and the amount of returns they expect, and keeping the risk in mind. An asset manager aims to maximize the returns to ensure that financial objectives set by clients are achieved. So what do they actually do? They act on behalf of clients, they rely on stable fee-based income streams, and they receive regulatory oversights of both the manager and portfolio levels. What don't we do as asset managers? We invest, so we don't invest with their own balance sheets by engaging in principle of proprietarian trading, employ balance sheet leverage, and guarantee investor capital or return. You may hear people reference the buy side and the sell side. The buy side refers to firms that purchase securities and investment products. This includes investment managers, pension funds, and hedge funds. The sell side refers to firms that issue, sell, or trade securities and investment products. This includes investment banks, advisory firms, and corporations. Therefore, as an asset manager, BlackRock is on the buy side, and investment banks are on the sell side. So with that context of how BlackRock fits in the finance industry, I wanted to talk to you through BlackRock's evolution and culture. We were founded in 1988 by 8 entrepreneurs who wanted to start a very different company. The founders shared a determination to put clients' need and interest first, dedication to fact-based, data-driven investing, and healthy obsession with risk. Incredible growth followed, leading into our RPO in 1999. By 2005, BlackRock had strong fixed income, equity, and advisory businesses. The firm then undertook a series of transformational mergers and added core investment competencies. The acquisition of Merrill Lynch Investment Managers in 2006 strengthened BlackRock's products and services with Mixmore offering in equity, multi-asset products, and alternatives, and greatly expanded the firm's scale and global reach. I won't go through the entire history of the firm, but what you should take from this is that BlackRock doesn't stand still. The BlackRock of today is very different to the BlackRock of 3, 5, 10, 20 years ago. And not many companies in financial services can say that. We have a world reach, local offices and relationships. With more than 70 offices in 30 countries, BlackRock is truly a global firm that combines the benefits of worldwide reach with local services and relationships. We manage assets for clients in 6 continents and combine global capability with in-depth local knowledge. Those clients range from individual investors from all walks of life to pension funds, to foundations and sovereign wealth funds, as well as companies and government facing significant financial challenges. Those clients entrust with us $7.81 trillion as of 30th of September 2020, and more than any other investment manager. Last year, we achieved revenues over 14 billion. So what are we driven by? We have 4 core principles. We are a firm that is driven by those, which is to help more and more people experience financial well-being. Our purpose is why, our reasoning for being. Our purpose is, we pursue the purpose, our guide is our principles. Those principles are our shared understandings of who we are, what we stand for, and how we'll conduct ourselves each and every day. They underpin everything we do. 1, we are fiduciary to our clients. Their interest always comes first. We have the responsibility to be the voice of the investor and we represent each client fairly and equally. We are one BlackRock. We know that our best solution results are from the ideas and contributions of a diverse team and partners. Diversity strengthens us and delivers better results to our clients. We are passionate about performance. We are passionate about our work and intensely focus on performing at the highest levels. Our success requires that we outthink and outwork our competitors. And finally, we're innovators. Continuous innovation helps us being the best at BlackRock to our clients. Innovation requires to challenge the status quo and not be afraid of failure. These aren't just words for us. They shape the way we do business and conduct ourselves. Each BlackRock employee is held accountable for living and demonstrating those values. We've always lived by and will continue to live by our mission and principles. These are critical to our success and core to BlackRock. Think about it this way. Our mission is what we do, our principle guides how we do it, and our purpose is why we do it. And in the first place, why we exist as an organization. Whenever you speak to anyone who works at BlackRock, you'll probably hear them talk about culture at the firm. It's the culture that we are proud of. At BlackRock, we firmly believe that inclusion and diversities are key to our success. We take an active approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion. For example, we have made public commitments to increase female representation at board level. We're a founder of the 30% Club in the US. We have employee networks such as the Ability and Alliance Network, Women Initiatives Network, and Black Professionals Networks, amongst loads of others, which you can check out on our website. We offer a range of benefits and programs to meet various need talents across the firm, such as a year-round dress-down policy. Yep, you can wear jeans absolutely every day of the week if you wanted to. Obviously, if you have a meeting, then you must dress a little bit smarter. But in the office, you can wear absolutely whatever you want. Flexible time off. So it's called FTO, and you can actually have as many paid days leaves as you want a year. Obviously, as long as you do your work. We don't track holiday days, so you can take as many days off as you want. Training and development through the BlackRock Academies, a virtual classroom that provides wide range of curriculum for employees to learn new skills and develop unique expertise. As I mentioned earlier, it's important to keep a very open mind of where you can start your career. Often people think career in finance, they think of investment banking. Hopefully after today, you'll consider asset management as well. And when people think of investment management industry, they inevitably think of investing again, but that's too narrow a way of thinking, certainly here at BlackRock. At BlackRock, we do have 10 business areas that you can see on the screen here. So where do you see yourself fit in? I won't go through each one of these business areas. There is much more details on the career website. But as you can see, there's so much to asset management than investing. What I hope you take away from this today is that whatever you're studying, whatever your interest is, there could be a place for you at BlackRock. So we have our advisory services, our analytics and risk, business management strategy, business operation, and then we have obviously our back-end operations, compliance, finance, internal audit, investments, marketing and communication, sales management, relationship, and of course, technology plays a really big part of us. If I move on to the next slide, I wanted to highlight our 4 core early in career programs that you could be considered for depending on your eligibility. So first one, our full-time analyst program is our flagship graduate program here at the firm, and it's open to students who are studying towards an undergraduate or master's degree and have graduated or are graduating between January 2019 and December 2021. Candidates must have less than 18 months of directly relevant full-time work experience. The full-time analyst program, which typically starts early August, is a multi-year training journey designed to empower and support analysts in connecting to their personal passions and strengths to BlackRock's mission, principles, and purposes. The program begins with an orientation to learn about our purpose, business, and strategic priorities, all while gaining insight to day-to-day life as an analyst here at BlackRock. Following orientation, analysts join their business areas and stay connected with colleagues across the globe through ongoing training and professional development. This program offers analysts the chance to have a lasting impact on the firm and contribute to a greater collective purpose to help more and more people experience financial well-being. Our summer analyst program is an 8-week paid work internship over the summer, typically starting at the end of June, and is designed to provide you with an exciting, supporting, and fun experience which mirrors the life of an analyst here at BlackRock. You'll have real-world responsibilities during the summer, in addition to participating in professional development, networking, and social events. The Summer Analyst Program acts as a feeder to the full-time analyst program for the following year. To be eligible for this program, you should be graduating in 2022 and have less than 18 months of directly relevant full-time work experience. The third program I wanted to highlight is our placement and our off-cycle internship program. This program is for students who are required to undertake a mandatory longer internship as part of their course and are graduating in 2022 for a 6-month internship or 2023 for a 12-month internship. Placement internships are available in the UK and off-cycle internships are available in our continental European offices. Please double check on the website because not all business areas and locations are available, so please check for further details before applying. And lastly, if you're currently in the first year of a 3-year degree or a second year of a 4-year degree and you're graduating in 2023, you're eligible to apply for a Spring Insight program offered in our London and Edinburgh offices. The Spring Insight program provides you with a week-long in-depth look at our businesses. You'll experience life at BlackRock through classroom sessions, work shadowing, networking, and social events. The Spring Insight program acts as a feeder to the Summer Analyst Placement and off-cycle internship programs. When applying to BlackRock, candidates are able to submit only one program application to the program you are eligible for. However, as part of this application, you can choose up to 2 different business areas you can be considered for. So for instance, you can choose to be considered for technology support as well as Aladdin client services. The application process will be the same for all of our programs and we'll start with a short online application form, which will ask you for your personal details as well as your CV. After you have submitted your CV, you will then receive a link from HireVue to complete a short video recording, which will be your virtual cover letter. In this video, you will answer 2 questions related to your motivations for the role and the firm. So how does all of this work? You'll click on a link either in the email from HireVue or on your application portal, which will take you to the video platform. You'll then be given the opportunity to test the system and do a practice question. However, once you start the virtual cover letter, you must complete it in one sitting. The question then pops up on the screen and you have 3 minutes to prepare your answer. Once the preparation time is up, you'll be recording and responding up to 90 seconds. You can cut both preparation and the recording short if you wish. There is no penalty if you give a shorter answer than 90 seconds. But very important to note, if you apply to 2 business areas, you're required to complete a cover letter for each. If you apply to a role outside the UK, you're required to answer one of the questions in the local language. Cover letters must be submitted within 72 hours of submitting your CV. This also includes the weekends. So please make sure you only apply once you're ready to complete your cover letter. These cover letters are then reviewed by the teams you apply to, who will shortlist the candidates who they wish to interview. At first round stage, you'll participate in 2 interviews, which will be 30 minutes long, conducted via live video, with members of the teams you have applied to. These interviews will focus on BlackRock's principles, but you should also be prepared to answer technical and motivational questions too. If you're successful at a first round, you'll then be invited to a final stage interview, all conducted virtually this year. Obviously, given COVID, we won't be going back into the office. The structure of the assessment stages varies depending on the division you have applied for. However, these will typically consist of further interviews, perhaps a presentation or a case study. There is an exception to this. So if you applied for a software engineering position, you will be required to complete a short coding challenge instead of a cover letter. The coding challenge is primarily in Java. However, the choice is yours. The third question could be answered either in Java, JavaScript, or Python. At the end of the coding challenge, there is one video question, and the coding challenge must be completed within 96 hours of submitting your application. So to summarize, submit your application online to one program and you can select up to 2 teams. Complete the relevant cover letters and coding challenges within the deadline. And finally, if you do not meet the deadlines, your application is considered incomplete and will not be progressed further. So please make sure you bear that in mind and don't leave it until the last minute to complete your cover letter, because sometimes there can be glitches and unfortunately we could not reset them at the last minute. All of our programs and teams are now taking applications, except our investment business areas that closed on the 23rd of October. However, all other businesses are open and the deadline is the 13th of November. So this is this Friday. If you do wish to apply, you have a couple of days. Please go ahead and apply. If you do have obviously further questions, then we'll be here after the session, or you can join the booth as well and ask any application questions. I'll be there today and tomorrow. And if you're looking to apply for the Spring Insight Program, the deadline is the 4th of December. So these are some frequently asked questions. Which program can I apply to? Please make sure you always check the eligibility of the program when you're applying based on your graduation date. Please only apply to the program you meet the eligibility for. So for example, don't apply for a summer internship program if you're in your final year, but you think you don't have enough work experience. This would be a waste of an application as it won't be considered. How do you record a good virtual cover letter? Firstly, ensure to complete it within 72 hours of submitting your CV. If you miss the deadline, your application is automatically rejected. Always be aware of your surroundings when filming. Close wardrobe doors, make your bed, etc. You want the person who's watching your video to be listening to your content and not be distracted by your background. Do your research on the team you're applying to. The cover letters are viewed by the hiring teams and not us in HR. So this is your opportunity to show that you're enthusiastic and have a good understanding of the role and you have researched and why you're interested in the division you're applying to. Can I apply to more than one business area? Yes, you can apply up to 2 business areas, but both business selections must be made at the same time, and you'll be required to record a virtual cover letter for each. Remember, the hiring teams are watching those virtual cover letters. So for example, the content of an analytics cover letter will be very different to the content for an investment cover letter. When will you hear back for your application? So we screen applications after the deadline and not on a rolling basis. So you should not expect to receive an update to your application before the deadline. Different teams recruit at different times, so you may not hear immediately after the application date. However, you will always receive a response to your application once it has been reviewed, whether you're successful in the process or not. If you want more regular updates, please make sure you log into your application portal and see the most up-to-date statuses on your application. And finally, do we sponsor visas? Yeah, we do sponsor visas for candidates hired onto our analyst, summer analyst, and placement programs. This process is initiated post the offer stage. So once you have your contract, then obviously before you join, we will kick that process off for you. Unfortunately, we do not sponsor visas for the Spring Insight Program, given it's only a week long. It's just not something that we do at the moment. This brings us to the end of our session today. Thank you all so much for joining this morning, and I really hope you learned something about BlackRock. I encourage you to connect with us on one of our social media challenges you can see on the screen, and I hope to see your application soon. I'm happy to take any questions now if you do have any, and also you're more than welcome to join the booth throughout the day. Hey, Nisha.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you so much for that. Hi, I'm Nisha. I'm from Rate My Placement, and I'm here to ask all your questions. And if you've got any, please put them in the chat, and I'll ask Stephanie. So yeah, thank you for that presentation to BlackRock. That's very insightful. So I've got a few questions to start us off with. So you talked about, BlackRock's core values. What do you think makes you stand out from other firms, other asset management firms?
We care about our employees, and so I've recently joined BlackRock 2 months ago, and I've joined from investment banking, and I must say it's such a difference. Everybody cares about you at all levels. You can communicate with MDs, directors, and the door is just always open for you. You can learn so much from the seniors, and obviously given it's a virtual environment, it's just so positive. It's a very open door policy, and I must say the culture is absolutely amazing.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. And could you talk a little bit more about the culture? Yeah. So you said it's very, employee focused.
Yeah. So we have loads of networks. So we have like LGBTQ+, we have a Black professionals network, we have a women's only network, and you can join obviously whichever one you fit into. You can join loads of seminars, loads of kind of awareness weeks. There's just so much information out there, and BlackRock, we just want to show our employees that we care about absolutely everyone, and that is really portrayed. You're invited to absolutely everything. There is monthly calls with senior leadership that you can take part in, and just listen to updates. Yeah, so the culture is absolutely great. Everyone's embraced, and we really care about absolutely every single one individual that works at the company.
Oh no, it's great to hear. And I said, I think you mentioned that you have, was it a 40 or 50% women at the board level?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is absolutely great. Yes. So I've got some questions about like the programs that you offer. So you said you had 10 business areas that students can go into. Is there any specific degree that they need to do to go into those areas, or can it be from a range?
No, let me go back to that slide, actually. It's a good question. So we accept degrees from absolutely any degree. It could be history, it could be geography, whatever you're studying, classics, whatever. But obviously the more technical roles will require a little bit of technical skills or coding, etc. However, all other roles will take candidates from all different backgrounds and all different types of diverse degrees, whether you're studying your classics or your mathematics, etc. As long as you have an interest within the role and you're able to articulate that within the interview process, you're absolutely fine. I will encourage students to take on coding courses or any type of technical things you can do, because technology is really developing faster than we think it is. And I guess over the next couple of years, face-to-face interaction might potentially disappear and everything will be online. So I would say and I would encourage every single one of you to, if you can and have the opportunity, just make yourself familiar with coding. I certainly wish I did when I was in school, but it was such a long time and those options were not available for us back then. But I would honestly encourage you guys to do your research. You have Google, like literally everything is on your doorstep. And I mean, on your laptop, you can just turn on your laptop and the information is just given to you. Don't be lazy, educate yourself. If you're not learning something in university or school, do it yourself, because nobody else is going to help you but yourself.
Oh, that's great tips there. I just got a few questions from the audience. So this is from Camille. So can we apply to both the summer program and the off-cycle program?
It depends on your degree. So obviously, if you're graduating into 2022, then you can apply for the summer program. Obviously, also, if your degree requires you to have a mandatory internship, you can also apply for the off-cycle one as well. So yeah, just check the graduation when you're applying, but yeah, you should be able to.
Okay. And do you look at do you have entry requirements for all of the programs? No. Okay. Brilliant. Another question. It says, for the spring weekend site, can we choose which location we want to work at?
Yeah, but you only have two options. It will be London and Edinburgh. And obviously, given COVID, it is potentially going to be virtual this year. I don't see things getting better by the spring. So having, 100 students in one room, I don't think that's going to happen. So yeah, just have a look, but it's out of Edinburgh and London for the Spring Insight Week.
Brilliant. And another question is, do you have any job opportunities for cybersecurity graduates?
What are you interested in? Because obviously we have loads of technology teams in the firm. Please come over to the booth and then you can speak to one of our actual business people that work in the teams, because they will be able to give you a little bit more information about cyber technology than I can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, so please go over to the booth. And just in terms of students and taking work experience, is there any certain work experience that you'd recommend them doing before applying?
I would say what I look for on a CV is not necessarily if you have relevant work experience, because I know it's so hard in this day and age to get a job, especially given COVID. It's going to be really difficult. I would say your extra curriculum. So I don't know if you've done your Duke of Edinburgh Award, or you take part in any sports or any societies at university. It just shows that you have a bit of personality. I would say make sure you add that on your CV. Also, guys, and I started to review applications a couple of days ago, and I want to say to you all, you're still not professionals. Please don't have a 3-page CV. If you are having your CV currently made, make sure you stick to 1 or 2 pages. It doesn't need to be longer. So please just stick to that, because otherwise it's really difficult for recruiters to read CVs. And one other thing I'll say to you guys, make sure you spell check absolutely everything, because a CV is the first representation of you, and it's the first document that represents you without us meeting you. There is absolutely no excuse. You all have Word. You can spell check. So make sure everything's absolutely correct before you submit your CVs.
You know, that's absolutely great tips there. Yeah, and I've got a few other questions about the application process. So you mentioned that they have to first submit their CV, and your tip there was, you know, make sure it's probably 1 to 2 pages long, especially for students. And then the next stage is the video recording. Have you got any like hints and tips to really make students stand out with that?
Yeah, I know it's super awkward to record yourself talking to the camera. Like, you must feel really stupid, and we all do. And honestly, I sympathize with you guys when we have to do all these presentations and I don't have anybody in front of me except my screen. It's so difficult. But what I can say would help you sometimes, if you get a Post-it note and like draw a smiley face and stick it on the screen, at least you can kind of see someone there. But start getting used to it, or just start practicing with yourself in the mirror. Get your questions prepared. I mean, your answers prepared to what you want to say. Obviously, you don't know the questions yet, but you will have those test runs. Do your research, of course. And what would help you as well is you can actually have notes, because you're not physically in front of somebody, you're recording. So you can always like stick the notes on your screen. If you get stuck, you can just refer to a keyword or whatever it is. So be prepared before you sit down and answer any questions. Obviously, the questions are not there to catch you out. They're just there to test your interest and knowledge. So yeah, that would be a tip.
Brilliant. And can the students find any like practice questions anywhere to help them?
SNL have a good platform. I would also say Glassdoor. I always use Glassdoor. So whenever I'm applying for a role or I want to check a company out, I always go on Glassdoor and just check the reviews, because a lot of people would submit previously asked questions. And those would be probably aligned somewhere along with obviously what we could potentially be asking this year. So just definitely check those pages out. There is so much out there. Like, you can literally find out anything if you just Google it. Even if you just type in BlackRock questions or BlackRock feedback, I'm sure anything will come up.
Yeah, brilliant. And so after the video recording, they've got the cover letter that they have to do. Have you got?
That is the cover letter.
Well, that is a cover letter.
Yeah.
Page interviews. Is there any tips that you give to students for those?
Just be yourself. Like, I know it's awkward. Definitely get that, but just try to be yourself. That does come out. I would also say try to record it when nobody's in the house, you know, so your mom's not coming in saying, do you want your dinner or something. Obviously, in those cases, we do reset them. But just try to be alone, that there's no background noise. Check your internet before you start recording. Obviously, if your internet drops, then, of course, we will reset the cover letter. Good thing is we don't do psychometric testing. So you literally submit your CV and then you add your cover letter, and then obviously that goes off to the business for review for first stage interviews.
Brilliant. And another question is, if students apply and they're unsuccessful the first time, can they reapply again?
Yeah, not within the same year though, but yeah.
No, can.
I just saw a question about could I upload the slides? Unfortunately, I can't upload the slides due to obviously security reasons of BlackRock. But if there's a slide you want me to go back to and you can take a picture of it, absolutely more than happy to let you guys take a picture. So just put it in a chat if you wanted me to go back to any slides.
Yeah, thank you. And then probably a question for yourself. Why did you choose to go into asset management, and why particularly BlackRock?
So I've been in finance for the last 8 years. I've worked in accounting, I've worked in investment banking. when I applied for BlackRock, what actually made me apply was the reviews I read on Glassdoor. So obviously, as you can imagine, investment banking is super tough. You know, you need to be a certain character to survive in investment banking, and I'll give you that advice, guys. Obviously, not as a recruiter, it's completely different. But if you are going into the actual business, make sure you do your research, and don't always just apply for the biggest brands out there. Apply to where you think you would benefit and learn the most. And I would also say, don't always look at the money, because all companies across the board will potentially be paying the same, a couple of grand in or out. But just see where you would feel like you would progress and fit the most. End of the day, you will spend most of your time during the day there, like up to 12. If you go into banking, you'll probably be spending about 16 hours a day at work. So make sure you actually enjoy the people you work with and you want to be there. What made me move was I was just kind of open to roles, and then I saw the BlackRock opportunity, and then I thought, oh, let me just, obviously I know who BlackRock are, but let me just do a little bit of research of what they do. And I just really started to believe in what they promote, and raising awareness to Black History Month or female empowerment. Those kind of things don't really exist that much in the industry, but the fact that BlackRock are openly talking about it, it's kind of heartwarming for me anyway. And then I went on to Glassdoor and I read a lot of reviews, and usually people would go on there and just absolutely slag off companies. But all of the feedback I read on there was so positive about BlackRock. Even students that haven't gained an internship on an opportunity, they actually went on there and said, my interview process was like great and I would reapply again and blah, blah, blah. So that for me really stood out, that somebody that didn't actually get a job went on there to write a nice review. I thought, yeah, like this is where I want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it shows they do some great initiatives there. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Another question. What is a typical day in the life for a student, and how much kind of client time do they get too?
I won't be able to answer that because obviously I don't work on the floor. So guys, if you come to the booth, I do have loads of business professionals that are managing the booth, and you can actually hear from the horse's mouth. But obviously you are working in smaller teams and you will have a lot of exposure. You won't just be there, making the materials or whatever in the background. You will be dealing directly with your managing directors, vice presidents, etc., because you are working in smaller teams. So just bear that in mind, that you will have that great exposure to connect with people, and not just on a local level, but global level as well. You'll be connecting with your colleagues in APAC or America, or even continental European offices. So yeah, there is that big opportunity for you there as well.
Brilliant. Yes, so go to the booth again. Do you find that a lot of students who do your placement program or even Insight Day, do they come back as graduates afterwards?
Absolutely. So yesterday I hosted an event called Insight into BlackRock. So it was for the spring interns that will potentially be applying, and I hosted a panel session where I had previous spring interns that had gone on to the summer internship program and then had converted onto the analyst program. So we have a really high retention of our interns. I mean, you spend a summer with us and you don't want to leave. Yeah. So we do have a really high retention, especially of our interns that we convert into full-time analysts.
Oh, brilliant. And in terms of I think you did mention it, but it'll just be good to recap in terms of when your applications open and close. Could you just give us a bit of insight into that?
Absolutely. So all applications are open except investment business areas. They close on the 23rd of October. However, all other business areas are open until Friday. And then obviously Spring Insight program is open until the 4th of December, 2020. So guys, if you are applying, go and apply now, I would suggest. Obviously, everything is open apart from investments.
Oh, that's brilliant. And then another question for yourself. So I know you've only been there, did you say 2 months at BlackRock? Yeah. What was your favorite thing about working there?
Oh, I would say my team. My team are absolutely amazing. What else is my absolute favorite thing? Everything is like really modern. all of the platforms we have, and all the access to everything, it's just so modern and up to date with technology. So you don't spend a lot of time faffing around trying to put things together, which obviously makes our life much easier. I work in a great team, and across the board, obviously, I have a team in America, APAC, and Europe, and obviously us guys in London. But there's just a great connection, and we can even have drinks on a Friday, or obviously everything is virtual, but the way they've welcomed me in, it's absolutely amazing.
Oh, well, it certainly seems that way. And another question from Evan says, do you know how many graduates you're going to take on for this year?
I can't answer that, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
No. Well, that's it. You just need to start applying.
No, I can't answer any questions related to numbers of applications or what the intake will be. Obviously, no company will be able to give me that answer.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, guys.
No, that's absolutely fine. Well, that kind of brings us to an end of the questions. And I know there's been some specific questions in the chat. So please, I advise you to go to the BlackRock booth and speak to, is it yourself that is going to be there, Steph?
Me, and I have a lot of business professionals in there as well, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you again for that really, really insightful presentation. And yes, we'll speak soon.
Thanks. Have a good day, guys. Enjoy the event.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.